Hello, and welcome back to Suzerain. And we have finished all our things before moving on to Whole Sword. We still have some reports to read here, though. GNA prepares Tourism Act. The Grand National Assembly in Whole Sword is writing the Swordland Tourism and Cultural Preservation Act. This act aims to enhance the cultural and tourism appeal of several cities, including Bourne, Ribery, Lochhaven, Enrica, and Binfie, in a collective push to make Swordland a global tourist destination. We've got the police report on the HSU fire. A fire broke out in the Academic Administration building of the Whole Sword State University. The initial report from the Chief of Police of Whole Sword indicates a near to complete destruction of employee records from 1890 until now, along with original copies of internally recognized academic research destroyed. The extent of the damage is worse than expected. I bet there's a reason behind it being being destroyed specifically. Public opinion report. People's views on the need for democratic reform in the government structures changed over the last decade. Reformist propaganda from the leader of the People's Freedom and Justice Party, Franz Richter, have resulted in a massive increase in demands for democratic reform. It is estimated that currently 55% of the population supports the reformist ideas. Meeting of media strategy. Lucian and Peter arrived at my office to talk about recent developments and the media strategy. They both took their seats across from me. Lucian put on his reading glasses and quickly went over some documents. Peter turned to Lucian and nodded. I did take off my glasses and then put them back on. I don't know why I do that. Greetings. I have received further information from the interior about the sudden fire that broke out at Whole Sword State University archives nearby. Tell me more. The initial reports from Whole Sword Police Chief indicate a potential arson case. In accordance with protocol, the Swordfish Intelligence Directorate has been called. If the SID really necessary for this, why would anyone hit the archives of a university in the first place? I see no logical motive here. It seems like the chief suspects foreign sabotage. They informed us that a large section of the archives have been destroyed. It includes tens of thousands of global recognized research documents and original by the great thinkers of our people. It's a shame so much knowledge was lost. Luckily, most originals have copies in the other universities and some international libraries. The first edition of my favorite book, The Geopolitics of Swordland by Herman Equa, was destroyed too. Maybe it was a freak accident. We do have the copies of most important works, so no single fire can eradicate our knowledge. I see no point in destroying employee records either. More important, Lucian mentioned that Marcel Corti contacted him. The Cortes had always been known as one of the richest and most influential families in Swordland. Marcel Corti was no exception. He was the oldest son of Conrad Corti, the industrialist and media mogul who founded HOS, the richest man in the entirety of Swordland. Lucian turned to me. He has offered to meet you, Mr. President. Why is Conrad sending his son? He, unfortunately passed away today. After the passing of his father, may he rest in peace, Marcel aims to become the next CEO of the HOS conglomerate. He mentioned a productive collaboration. They are a powerful and influential media conglomerate. To start with, they own the Swordland Today newspaper, the Swordish Broadcasting Corporation, which means it would be wise to have them on our side. Sorry for interrupting. What does this productive collaboration entail? He did not wish to explain the details over the phone, but rather in person. I believe I will be receiving a call from him sometime soon. However, as Peter said, they have substantial power over the content of media outlets. Headlines, radio shows, that is what he would be offering. What he wants in return is what we need to understand. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we need to determine our general approach to media. I'm no media expert, but Lucian made some very interesting arguments at the preparations meeting yesterday. There are two ways we can approach the media. One of them is by influencing it, which has clear advantages. The other one is keeping it independent. The media must be independent. Ideally, yes, but an unpopular leader will not be able to pass even the easiest reforms. It is of utmost importance to maintain public popularity and avoid any damaging scandals or mistakes. I must stress one thing, Mr. President. The more people we have supporting our agenda, the more we can accomplish. With someone on our side, an influential media organization, we can do this very easily. I see what you're getting at. I agree with Lucien, but why the assumption there'll be scandals and mistakes? We can always hope for the best, but do we really think that nothing can go wrong? Especially considering the very recent history of Swordland. 2 knocks were heard on the door. Who is it? It's Livia, Mr. President. Livia Suno, my new secretary, entered the office. Her dark curls bounced as she crossed the room to my desk. She spoke with a slight lilt in her voice. Excuse me, Mr. President. Mr. Gallade's secretary has been calling me and wanted me to relay a message. Marcel Carnty, the new CEO for HOS Conglomerate, is on the line for Mr. Gallade. Well, the ball is in our court now. Would you like to talk to him, sir? Or, would you like me to? I'll talk to him. Connect the line to my office. Right away, sir. Connecting the call to line 1. Livia left the room and the phone started ringing. I picked it up. The President speaking? It's an honor, Mr. President. I know your time is valuable, so I will not waste any of it. I was just elected CEO of HOS. My strategy and the running of this conglomerate will be different from my father's approach. This is why I'm offering a partnership deal regarding our media branch. I would like to formally invite you to my resort near Conriet for a meeting to discuss the details. What does that entail? Our future as partners, Mr. President. Surely we can't talk about the details on the phone. I just wish a face-to-face conversation with you. I'll send the details through my secretary if you're interested. Thank you for the offer. I would be interested in a meeting. Whether we agree or not, there's no reason to just flatly deny. We might as well go to a meeting. Plus, we can't not read more. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Well then, I will let you return to your packed schedule. See you later, Mr. President. See you later, Mr. Cortini. I hung up the phone. I'll set up right away. Expect a worthwhile meeting next month. It's settled then. Looking forward to next month. I wonder if he has a pool. Lucien looked at his watch. It appears we're done for today. We will continue where we left off later. Thank you for your time. Good work with Marcel. Keep it up. Lucien and Peter nodded before gathering the documents and leaving my office. We're already getting the attention of key figures, and potentially dangerous ones. Hey, you know, we need people. We need them, so... Oh well. Republic of Kurut. The Republic of Kurut congratulated President Anton Rain on his recent election victory in Swordland. Chancellor Inos Amnir of Kurut untold Swordland's democratic process and the peaceful transition of power, emphasizing shared values. Kurut emphasized, whatever that word I just said was, positive outlook to continue diplomatic collaboration and mutual growth with Swordland. That's good to hear. Valgin. Declining energy output at Valgin Dam. Valgin Dam, a critical energy resource for Swordland, has been experiencing a reduction in energy output due to its age. The dam's aging infrastructure is proving less efficient, affecting its ability to maintain previous levels of energy generation. This decrease could impact the region's energy supply if not addressed promptly. Plans for refurbishing or modernizing the dam could be proposed in the future if necessary. Party Committee Report. The Reform Committee reports that any potential change to the Constitution in the direction of reformists will likely result in strong opposition from the Nationalist Front Party. The members of the Assembly in support of such direction seem to be in great numbers, possibly make up a majority of the Grand National Assembly, while most members of the United Swordland Party seem reluctant about supporting such changes. SID joins HSU fire investigation. Further investigations by the police department reveal a potential arson case with no identified suspects yet. The police chief of Holsword has voiced concerns about suspected sabotage by a foreign nation, inviting the Swordish Intelligence Directorate in the investigation to expand the investigation. The area is condoned off the public to discover further evidence. Robbery. Tourism potential in Ribery. Ribery, with its rich historic sites, unique culture, and natural beauty, has untapped tourism potential. However, the city lacks the necessary infrastructure and promotion activities to become a fully fledged tourist destination. Local officials are actively seeking further support to develop Ribery's tourism sector. Any strategic plan for Ribery's development will require a focus on infrastructure and the promotion of its attractions. Boosting tourism could significantly enhance the city's economy and create numerous job opportunities. What's new in the Codex? In business, Concurrenti was the CEO and majority shareholder of the HOS conglomerate. He is the man who created the famous Currenti brand through his highly successful business ventures and motivational quotes that inspire generations of enterprisers. He always promoted a victory no matter the cost approach to making business succeed, which also drew criticism from those who parted ways with him on his venture. The rise of the Heart of Swordland conglomerate is entirely on the shoulders of Conrad Currenti, who acquired small companies in critical industries where Swordland was lacking behind. His competition and performance-oriented attitude allowed him to disrupt these industries and to dominate them. He had 5 children, who he has said to have raised without excessive wealth and privilege. Conrad Currenti passed away at Inward Hospital in Hallsword on January 20th, 1954, due to his Carissa. Okay, that's the only new part of that. Marcel Currenti. After his father's death in 1954, he was elected as the next chairman of HOS. His wealth is estimated to be around a couple billion SR, according to The Economist. He is one of the 3 richest swords alive today. Interesting. Oh, do we got another thing? Oh, we do. HOS. After the sudden death of Conrad Currenti in 1954, his son Marcel Currenti was elected to be chief executive officer by the majority of the board. Alright. We got some new news. Swordland today. Conrad Currenti passed away, the first and most important modern entrepreneur Swordland has ever seen, has sadly passed away today. People look up to Conrad Currenti as a figure of success, respect, and wealth. After his immediate passing, his son Marcel Currenti took over his title as the new CEO of the Heart of Swordland conglomerate. Suspicious fire ravaged HSU. The rector of HSU, Sander Navik, reported that a fire broke out in the archives of the University Academic Administration building, causing damage to scientific and other types of documents. The Inward Hospital reported that 5 wounded people are being taken care of, but in stable condition. After the fire was put out by firefighters, the Swedish Intelligence Directorate condoned the scene in suspicion of foreign subversive interference. Several academics, including Hermann Equa, have stepped forward concerning regarding the status of many famous academic papers and recognition stored at archives. Equa was quoted saying, "Our great quests of knowledge should have been protected better." We have the Latvian Times. Gas empires freeze amid economic strains. As Swordland grapples with economic challenges, Gossam, one of the nation's largest corporations, has announced a freeze of new hires. The corporation, integral to Swordland's energy sector and a significant contributor to its economy, is yet to announce when it intends to lift the hiring freeze. While this development is a blow to the shortest workforce, it's a reminder of the delicate state of our national economy. Glamorous inaugural ball. The Holsword elite gathers for a lavish state ball. Many citizens of the country are uncertain about their own future, but the state has no problem with wasting taxpayer money right from the start. We demand that these traditions of wasteful nature will become a thing of the past once the prejudice settles in. The team here at The Radical will keep fighting for a better, more equal tomorrow for all. Fair enough. Geopolitical. Ideological dispute between Gulmland and Vagsland intensifies. Under the leadership of Gulmland's second female leader, Briat Henry, the ideological dispute between Gulmland and Vagsland has intensified. However, Deer's government has been actively promoting the development and implementation of the Gulmish Manifesto, a unique interpretation of Carlos Marxism and communist theory. The country has been pushing the agenda to other SCP countries, garnering support and building alliances in an effort to strengthen their position in the region. However, internal factions backed by Volkswagen Socialism, United Cortan and Amalgamism pose a significant challenge to Halvorson's government. The factions are working to undermine the Gulmish Manifesto and weaken Gulmland's influence among its allies. As tensions escalate, both nations find themselves locked in a fierce ideological battle with potential significant consequences for regional instability and cooperation. The ongoing conflict has recently resulted in imposition of trade tariff between the two countries, further straining relations and impacting regional economy. These economic barriers are likely to exacerbate existing tensions and make it more difficult for the two nations to find common ground on key issues. Observers are closely monitoring the situation, hoping that both nations can find a peaceful and mutually beneficial resolution to the ongoing dispute before it escalates further, potentially impacting the expansion of CSP allies. Swordsland regional trade. As the Reign administration starts its first term, there's a question in all of our heads. What will be the regional international trade policy? Due to the strategic geographical location of Swordsland, historically Agnolia and Wayland have been natural trading partners. Depending on the direction of the Reign administration, we think it's likely that a new trade deal will be brokered with at least one of these partners in the near term. All in all, regardless of which trading partners the administration decides to go with, one thing is for sure, regional trade will boost the ailing economy. The real question is, what does Valgzan or Lesbia think about Swordsland? We'll have to find out. But first, we're going to go over to Lachaven and invest in a mega infrastructure. The Ministry of Economy has put forward two bold plans for a mega infrastructure project that would help with economic recession long term. Investing in projects of this scale will take up some portion of our budget, but could prove worthwhile if accomplished successfully. Invest in a mega infrastructure project is what we are going to do. And our government budget stat has decreased. Whole Sword Campaign Finance Bill. Section 1 of this bill stipulates a significant change in the methodology of public funds allocating to public or political parties. The new measure replaces the previous system based upon the number of votes won in general election, with a system reliant on the proportion of seats secured by a political party in the assembly. Section 2 sets the annual financial allocation of political parties at 500,000 ren per each member of assembly. This shift ensures that the financial support from public funds aligns more closely with the party's representative influence in the legislative body. Section 3, a consequential effect of these amendments, will effectively lead to a substantial increase in the election budget for the USP and a minor augmentation for other parties present in the Assembly. The restructuring of funding fosters a more proportional representation of party presence within the Assembly. Section highlights an important consequence of reallocation. Parties that do not meet the 10% threshold will see their public funding effectively curtailed. This measure ensures that the public resources are concentrated towards parties with significant representation of the Assembly. I mean, it supports me, but it goes against the lower parties. This is a tough one. Let's sign it. Oh well. Who cares? It's fine. Everything's fine. Electoral funding reform. A new bill has been passed into law, significantly altering the criteria for allocation of public funds to political parties. Under revised guidelines, the distribution of funds will no longer be based on the number of votes obtained by a political party in the general election. Instead, the criteria will now be considered the proportion of seats won by the party in the assembly. As a result of the change, political parties will receive an annual amount of 500,000 ren per member of the assembly. This adjustment leads to doubling the election budget for the party with the highest seat count, USP, and a slight increase for the other parties in the assembly. However, it also means that the parties falling below 10% election threshold will no longer receive any public funding. This modification aims to align the distribution of funds with the representation of parties in the assembly, ensuring a more proportional allocation of resources based on political success. Look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to only give money to those in the assembly, but then increase the amount of parties in the assembly by lowering the percentage. So overall, we're being unfair, but we're also opening it up at the same time. You see what I'm getting at here? I think you see what I'm getting at here. I'm so being a hypocrite. Hey, sometimes you gotta be a hypocrite to be a politician. The recent electoral funding bill passed by the government has resulted in significant change in the way political parties are funded. Under new law, public election funding is only provided to parties that have secured seats in the assembly. This resulted in reduction of funding for parties that didn't enter the assembly. In contrast, the funding for USP, the party in power, is doubled. Hey, money. Electoral funding reform. The campaign finance bill has been signed into law by President Rain after the approval of the National Assembly majority vote on Friday, following a 3-hour debate. President Richter has objected to the funding package, saying it contained too much unfairness in the allocation budget, also sought to delay proceedings by demanding a formal recounted vote, but was overruled. The new law brings small changes to the criteria for allocation of the campaign budget, and introduces no changes to the total amount of public funds reserved for political parties, which stands at 100 million SR. USP hijacks elections. A new law that further expands on the unfairness of our electoral system has been approved by the Grand National Assembly and was signed into law by President Rain. The new law changes the rules of eligibility of the public funds that are reserved for every political party in Swordland. Previously, the funds were given on the basis of the number of votes in the general election. With these changes, the funds will be given on the basis of the number of seats a political party holds, which eliminates every party apart from the 3 that are currently in the Assembly. This insane law also results in the governing United Swordland Party share from the funds to double as Anton Rain's presidency begins. We, the Radical, are already smelling the rot in Whole Sword. Hey, I'm gonna use the funding to make things better. So, see, it's all good. Hypocrisy. It's hard. Look, it's fun to roleplay a slightly corrupt capitalist. The view towards Marquis Sea from Lachevin was nothing short of exquisite. The seaside state residence, fittingly named the Blue Mansion, was large, fine, and accommodating. But enjoying the luxurious mansion wasn't the main reason for our visit. We gathered the economic team here to discuss the new infrastructure investment project. Half an hour had already passed since the start of the meeting. Unfortunately, I did not even have the chance to have my usual afternoon coffee. Looking at the view from the windows, I let my mind drift for a couple seconds. Simon's voice brought me back into the ongoing discussions. Mr. President, we need to focus on boosting the economy as quickly as possible. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is through infrastructure projects. What can we focus on? On the one hand, businessmen are complaining about the slow logistical rail network between Wholesword and Lachevin. Lily started talking as soon as Simon took a breath. On the other hand, citizens are criticizing the lack of proper highway connection between Lachevin and Arvery. The narrow roads by the seaside are not only dangerous, but also difficult to traverse. We need to pick the most profitable option for economic growth, which is obviously connecting our most powerful cities. It's not business folk who are suffering now, but ordinary folk. What really matters is that our first economic act accomplishes something tangible. We must prove our capabilities, people must know the administration. We must improve the economy of our nation and bring it out of the recession. To that point, I defined 2 important projects for your attention. The H3 Highway Project and the L1 High-Speed Railway Project. Mr. Hull repositioned himself in the chair. The ministry can only support one project at a time with our current capacity and budget. Let's move on to the details of each. So which do you want to hear about first? The H3 Highway Project. The H3 project aims to improve the abyssal state of the road network in England region, bordering Agnolia. This area is home to several million Agno-Swordish citizens, who currently feel neglected. There are no proper highways connecting to and from Agland. The mayor of Arvery, Eric Neal, has been asking for a bigger budget to develop the regional infrastructure. He told us that even trucks are having a hard time traveling through the main roads. The increased traffic is causing trouble for people commuting in and out of the region. I agree, this could also hurt the local businesses. It is, bless their soul. I'm happy we're thinking alike on the matter. Let's take a more detailed look at the upgrade proposal. Lilius was pointing at Lachevin. The H3 highway starts from here in Lachevin, and from there leads to Linkirk, and there goes to Arvery. As a result, the road network towards Agnonian capital, Staleport, will improve substantially. She paused and leaned forward in her chair. As mayor, I saw the central government continuously neglect our country's Agno-Swordish-dominated regions. Is this administration going to continue that kind of neglection? It makes little sense to put investments in such a remote region. That is why we should initiate the L1 project. It has to be pointed out that the highway be less beneficial in the short term. I have to disagree. It will increase the speed of transportation throughout the region. Our citizens will be quite pleased if we successfully accomplish this. Besides, if we enter trade talks with Agnolia, they will see this investment as a positive sign. Very interesting, but I still want to hear about the railway project. Your predecessor, Alfonso, failed to deliver on this campaign promise, but now we have the opportunity to start the construction of a groundbreaking railway project. As you know, our current trains cannot meet the standards of today, and many other countries adopt new electric engine technologies to power up their trains. We're falling behind. News about the new electric trains in United Cortana has piqued our business interest. They too want transport resources from material from Holsword to Lochvin with great speed and efficiency. This could also empower businesses and bring investments. This should be our priority, growth and development optimization. Our plan is to upgrade the old L1 line from Holsword to Lochvin. It will transform into a high-speed railway. Look at the map. Gus was pointing at Holsword while Simon was looking attentively. The planned construction starts right here at the capital. From there it will go to Enrica first, and then connect to Gilsword, after which it will reach Lochvin, our economic powerhouse. He leaned forward. The L1 highway will significantly boost the economies of the newly linked cities, and even the rural areas in between. Lochvin is a primary port, so the goods unloaded there will be transferred to Holsword so much faster. Yes, we should link these rural areas in the middle with the major cities of Swordland. We are talking about the wealthiest regions and forgetting about Agland, which needs the investment far more. The mayor of Enrica, Curtin Lesty, also requests this project to be prioritized. Businessmen in the region will be very content, which in turn will increase investments and employment. Therefore, I will recommend the L1 high-speed railway project. I've set on my decision. Excellent. What will be your final choice be? I've decided on the L1 high-speed rail project to improve the connection between our most productive cities. The right choice, Mr. President. The negotiations will begin in the middle of this year. You will be able to award the contract to a corporation of your choice. The ministry estimates that the construction will be completed in 2 years if every step going forward is executed successfully. Thank you all for your contributions and thoughts. See you soon, Mr. Rain. Have a nice day, Mr. President. Evening settled on the beautiful coastline of Lochvin. What a good day. Things are going well. And now we have under construction. L1 speed highway under construction. And we'll fix our logistical issues. The mayor is reported to be struggling to overcome the significant logistical problems of the cities. This will help with that. Whoop whoop. There we go. This will be good. Yeah, boy. Invest in Arcasian Company stocks. An opportunity to buy stocks from the Arcasian Company. A personal investment opportunity has been relayed to Mr. Minger. An experienced stockbroker in Ventry City, Arcasia, is selling valuable stocks in the Armenian Industries, an up-and-coming electronics manufacturing company. We could invest or let this opportunity pass. Nah, I might need my money for other things. Screw him. Who cares? But in the next episode, we'll go to the inaugural ball and see what happens there. But I think for now, this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.